All right, let's get right into it. Literally thousands of years, some of the greatest minds, mystics, philosophers, you name it, have been wrestling with one single massive question. What is actually real, and what's just a really, really convincing illusion? This isn't just some abstract thought experiment. It's the absolute foundation of what it means to wake up. And that's exactly where we're headed today.
You know, Morpheus said it best in The Matrix. Ever feel like there's a splinter in your mind? And I bet you felt it. That little nagging sense that something about the world, about the way things are, is just not quite right. Well, here's the secret. That feeling isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's the very first tug on a thread that if you pull it, can unravel this entire reality you thought you knew. This is where the journey really begins.
Okay, so this really boils down to a fundamental split. On one hand, you've got the world you see. Think of it like a movie projection. It's colorful, it's constantly changing, it feels totally real. But then on the other hand, there's the world that is. This is the screen the movie is playing on. It's the eternal, solid, unchanging foundation underneath everything. The whole spiritual game, really, is just learning how to tell the two apart.
So if we want to see what's truly real, we can't just wish for it. We've got to become spiritual detectives, or maybe even hackers. We first have to understand the program that's running the whole show. We need to deconstruct the powerful illusions, the code that shapes every single thing we perceive. It's time to pop the hood and see how this simulation is actually built. And this cosmic operating system actually has a name. In ancient Hinduism, they call it Maya. Now, don't think of Maya as just some made-up fantasy. Think of it as the creative force, the ultimate software that takes the one, single, unified reality and projects it out as a world of billions of separate things. Separate people, separate trees, separate stars. It's the grandest magic trick of all time.
So what's the primary data stream feeding this simulation? It's our thoughts. Get this. The average person has somewhere between 60 and 80,000 thoughts every single day. Just let that sink in. That's a non-stop 24/7 waterfall of mental chatter. And for most of our lives, we just automatically assume we're the ones in the control room authoring every single one.
But here's the question that changes everything. If those thousands of thoughts just appear and disappear on their own, kind of like clouds drifting through the sky, then who is the one watching them? Who, or what, is the silent awareness that sees this whole parade go by? Pondering that is how you start to see beyond the program.
Right, so inside this simulation, we're all playing with a personalized character, a custom-built avatar. And we call it the ego, or the self. It's this constructed identity made up of your name, your memories, your job title, your whole personal story. And look, it's a super useful tool for getting around in the world. But the big illusion, the trap, is when we start to believe that this temporary character we're playing is who we actually are.
And what does this avatar love to do? It's absolutely obsessed with playing what you could call the status game. It's constantly hungry, always seeking validation from the outside world through things that are, when you look closely, just illusions, chasing possessions to feel secure, climbing social ladders to feel superior, and getting trapped in that endless loop of success and failure just to feel like it has some kind of value.
You know where the ego loves to hang out? Its favorite playground is what we call psychological time. It keeps us completely trapped by either dragging us back to replay old memories or shoving us forward into anxious fantasies about the future. But the simple, profound truth is that life is never happening in the past or the future. It's only ever happening right now. Everything else, it's just a story.
Now, this next one, this might be the deepest, most subtle illusion of them all. It's the feeling that I am in here, behind the eyes, pulling the levers. The sense that I am the author of my thoughts and actions. But what if that feeling of being the doer is just a story the brain tells itself after the action has already happened? What if life is just this seamless, spontaneous flow, and our feeling of being in control is the biggest illusion of all? Okay, so we've spent some time mapping out the code, looking at the nuts and bolts of the illusion. So what happens now? Well, now we talk about unplugging. It's time to shift gears and explore what it means to wake up to the reality that wasn't somewhere else, but was right here all along, just hidden in plain sight. Pretty much every great spiritual tradition points to the same fundamental truth. Behind that constructed temporary identity, the ego, there is an ultimate identity, your real identity.
In the philosophy of Vedanta, they call this the Atman, or the divine self. And the key is, this isn't your personal separate self. It's the universal consciousness, the same fundamental I am that is the essence of every single being in existence.
So what is this self really? The best way to describe it is pure consciousness. Think about it like this. Your entire life is a movie playing out. All the drama, the joy, the thoughts, the feelings, that's the movie. But you are not the movie. You are the screen the movie is playing on. The scenes change, the story gets wild, but the screen itself, it's always there, always silent, and completely untouched by whatever happens on it. That unchanging screen, that's who you really are.
The great poet Rumi put it perfectly. He said, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." I mean, just let that land for a second. The core illusion is feeling like you're this tiny, separate drop, isolated from everything else. But the reality? The reality is that you aren't just a piece of the universe, you are the entire universe, just experiencing itself through your unique eyes.
Now here's a concept that can be a little tricky at first, from the Heart Sutra. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. When we hear emptiness, we tend to think of, well, nothing, a big scary void. But in this context, it's the exact opposite. This is sacred emptiness. It's not a lack of something. It's the infinite buzzing potential from which everything, all forms, all matter, all of reality, springs into being. It's not the opposite of form, it's the womb of form. Okay, so where is this reality? Where do we find it? The answer is so simple it's almost infuriating. It's not in the past, it's not in the future, it's right here, in the timelessness of the eternal now. This very moment, right now as you're listening to this, is the one and only portal you will ever have to access that deeper reality. And the door only opens when we drop the stories about yesterday and the worries about tomorrow.
And this leads to a complete paradigm shift in how we think about something like inner peace. You know, most of us spend our lives chasing peace, trying to achieve it, trying to build it. But what if that's completely backward? What if peace is actually your factory default setting? It's not something you have to go out and get. It's what's already here, underneath all the mental noise. When the static stops, peace is what remains. You don't gain it, you just return to it.
So let's be clear about what this all means. Waking up isn't about floating off on a cloud or escaping the world to go live in some other dimension. Not at all. It's about living right here in this world, but learning to see it and, more importantly, to see ourselves with totally new eyes. It's about living beyond the limitations of the code.
But hold on, because there's one final, incredibly subtle trap on this path. We could call it the seeker's paradox. The ego loves this one. It creates a new character, the seeker. This me who is on a grand journey to find enlightenment. But can you see the trap? The very idea of a separate me who needs to find something reinforces the illusion of separation. The search itself becomes the last and greatest obstacle. The paradox is, the thing you're looking for is the one who is looking.
And so, this all brings us to one last, mind-bending question to leave you with. If the seeker, that personal I, who is trying so hard to wake up, is itself just another part of the illusion, then who is left to awaken? Maybe, just maybe, there's nothing to achieve and no one to achieve it. There's just this reality which was never, ever lost in the first place.